Hey everybody, and welcome. I'm Michael Hoyp. I'm joined today with Jared Doucette. Say hi, Jared. How are you doing?
Although
We are here. Oh, sorry to cut you off. We are here
that's
with
okay. Just
a top eight match of the Fall Brawl. The matchup we have today is between Alberto and Fede. Alberto will be playing the Rock, and Fede will be playing Goblins. So this is kind of a classic pre-modern matchup.
yeah, a classic tier one matchup.
Yes. So let me. Oh, I think I forgot to update the decks, but let me switch over to the deck screen. I think we'll have an old deck list up, but let me bring up the. We'll bring up Alberto's. So he's playing the Rock. Let's find that real quick.
Yeah,
And
pretty classic looking rock list actually.
yep. So the kind of the choices when it comes to the Rock is: are you playing Living Wishes? How many creature removal spells are you playing? How many Blastoderms are you playing? And are you playing Recurring Nightmare or not? I guess those are the biggest variances that I've seen between the decks. It seems
Yeah,
here.
and
Go ahead.
oh yeah, I was just gonna comment, and I was gonna say that it seems like he chose to kind of go the middle on a lot of these options
Yeah,
because
that
he chose to do two living wishes. He chose to do two recurring nightmares, which is probably the right number, but only two blastoderms and two deranged hermits is kind of the top end. But with those recurring nightmares, he's also able to do some shenanigans with the Krosan Tuskers and also the Yavimaya Elders.
yeah. There's a couple Yavimaya Elders, couple Krosan Tuskers. I think there's either two or three Wall of Blossoms. So yeah. So the middling kind of numbers is kind of just in between. In terms of sideboard for this matchup, the key cards are there's three Engineered Plague, which I think might be a little bit more than normal. I think maybe two might be the standard. So that is definitely a card that will come into play given that Fede is on a tribal deck. And also Plague Spitter might be a card that'll be interesting. There's only two Living Wishes, but Plague Spitter dealing one damage to each creature every turn, and possibly two if it dies, could really wipe out the Goblin army that comes into play. All right,
Yeah, that definitely makes sense.
let me.
And what do you think of his option to play Smothers as his removal of choice?
So I like the card Smother in terms of the black removal spells. I personally don't like if I were to build a rock deck, I wouldn't dedicate too many cards to killing creatures, but I'd just have them in the sideboard because I feel like there's a lot of matchups where I don't really enjoy having cards like Smother or Diabolic Edict or Vendetta or whatnot. But in terms of those choices, I do like Smother a lot. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's just if he's on the draw with a turn one lackey, he has no answer. You know, so that's the problem with that is that it's a 2 mana answer for a 1 mana problem. And so if a turn one lackey does happen from Federico, then it might be an issue. But I think it's a pretty good card overall. I've definitely enjoyed playing it. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, and so the other list that we have is for Fede. So this is Goblins, and of the Goblin list that we've seen, there's really not that many mono red ones. It's usually either red black or red green. And for a while, we had seen kind of the meta shift to the red green, and that was another list that was in this top eight. But here we see the red black. Do you want to talk about the black splash in the Goblins?
Well, the Black Splash is great because you get the Duresses and the Draw News Crusade. So the Duresses are just one of the best cards in the format, and they're good at disrupting the combos that you're a little slower than. And the Draw News Crusade is good against the hate cards that are generally good against goblins, such as all the white, usually white kind of circle protection of reds or something like that. You know, so it kind of turns them black, pumps them up, which is good. And so it does double work there. And actually would be decent if you can get that down before the engineer plague to make sure your stuff stays alive.
Yeah, and then the only other thing I think I really want to touch on is kind of the Goblin Matron targets that are in the main deck for this Goblin list. So there is one Goblin Tinker, one Goblin King, one Goblin Sharpshooter, one Goblin Pyromancer. I believe those are the
Yeah,
targets.
those are the singletons. Yep. And then he does have, which is going to be really useful, is the three gem palms in the main deck, which I think is good, very good against the rock typically. And he also has 2 lightning bolts.
Yes, Marxist Disco. Thank you for the Prime subscription. We appreciate the support. Yeah, in terms of the tutor targets, I have kind of fallen off favor of cards like Tinker or I'm trying to think of the other one. Oh, the Goblin Pyromancer. The times that I felt like I've played goblins, that I just don't find myself searching for them that often, and I think they're better sideboard cards, but to each its own. So, all right, is there anything you want to add? Otherwise, we would jump into
No,
the
let's
games.
get going.
Okay. Do you want to let the players know they can get started?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. They should be good to go.
So we have Alberto on the left on the rock, and then we have Fede on the right with goblins. So it looks like with one card aside, is that a mulligan from Alberto? And a mulligan from Fede. So.
Okay. All right. So, again, here we go. Uh-oh. Oh, Fanatic. That's not so bad.
Yeah, definitely you're always on your heels when you're playing against Goblin if turn 1 Lackey is a possibility, so.
Yeah. I think, but that's still pretty good. That makes you wonder if he's going to play out those birds. Because I think even if, as the Goblins player, you're still take down the birds as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I agree.
If this comes down.
The Mog Fanatic doesn't really have too much to do otherwise.
No.
Okay, so we see a Cabal Therapy that's cast off a Llanowar Wastes. The cards in the hand are Goblin Matron, Goblin War Chief, Bloodstained Mire, and Sulphurous Springs. And
2 lands.
Doesn't look like, I don't know which card he named exactly, but doesn't look like he hit. So
what would he named? Probably Ringleader?
Ringleader might be my first choice.
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what he would name there. Interruption. Back. Okay. Okay. So turn 2 is just attack go for
yeah. There's just one unknown card and the War Chief and the Matron, so.
Yeah. All right, so your living wishes for Plague Splitter, just like you said.
Yep, so I'll bring that one up.
It's a good
I love the design of this card. I think you guys were talking about this on one of your top invasion cards on the podcast, but
it's a good one.
I like the games, like the cards that kind of have like little mini games in them, because there are certain situations where you just like one player wants the Plague Spitter to die and the other player doesn't, and it's kind of interesting. Like the Goblins player might be in a situation where he's okay with it dealing 1 damage to everything, but if it dies and deals another damage, then it's really detrimental to the Goblins plan. So there's like kind of a mini game of keep your opponent's Plague Spitter alive, and that's kind of interesting.
So this is, I think we're going to run into this right now. Actually, is that he's going to have he attacks for 3, which makes sense, but like he's going to start attacking for 1, and when that Fanatic is going to die, do you kill the Plague Spitter and give up your War Chief? To get that, because once he plays it next turn. Now, obviously, Federico has the tempo right now, so I think it might be a little.
So one option, if he has another land, he can. Though it is kind of awkward. I was gonna say he could. No.
Oh, this is a big tempo loss for Alberto, by the way, having that tap land.
If he has a land, okay. I was gonna say if the Plague Spitter was in play, because it only deals it during your the controller's upkeep.
Right.
If he had another land, he could Matron for Gempalm Incinerator and get rid of it, and then just lose the 1 toughness creatures. But yeah, it's still kind of annoying to lose Mog Fanatic and Goblin Matron.
Okay, now this looks good for Federico. It looks like he's got the tempo and he's very ahead, and he's got these War Chief online. I think we're going to see a bunch of stuff coming down right now.
Okay, so interesting that he's waiting, or he does it in response to...
War Chief, probably.
Yeah, but what is the reason for waiting? Because he was able to get an extra mana. No, because if he would have done it before, like, then... I
would have done it during upkeep, so he wouldn't get mana reduction.
Right.
mean, if he doesn't kill the war chief there, then he probably searches for a pile driver and he's swinging in for what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I agree.
7.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. He's swinging for 11. You know what I mean? So if he didn't have that smother, I mean, that smother is definitely keeping the game. But I would have probably done it during the. You're killing the war chief no matter what, right? So I think I probably would have done it during the upkeep just to kind of knock it down. So this matron costs 3 instead of 2. So I mean, right now he has some options as far as what he wants to get. He probably maybe still gets a pile driver for next turn, or is he getting a? What else can he do? Maybe a lackey. It depends what's in his hand. Didn't look like much from. It was. I mean, we've seen everything that was in his hand from that therapy, I believe.
I guess Ellender will just bring up a point of the play if you're waiting is kind of baiting the matron into play because you do have the plague spitter. That is a reasonable thing to do.
Right.
The thing is though,
and attacking the.
Would you want
the plague spitter's weird?
Would you want to wait until he gets to the goblin? Because from that perspective, you know from this point when you're searching with the goblin matron that the war chief is gone. If you wait until the card is selected, yeah, he does have the option to like play a card like Piledriver, but then you could respond by killing it before it could attack.
Right. So he got a Gempalm with the matron, which I think is smart because I think he knows this plague spitter's coming down, and he'll lose his board, but it will only lose his. I mean, he'll just lose it once,
Well, he has the option
hanging around, and he'll get the draw card from it, so that's not the worst.
He does have Cabal therapy in the graveyard, so he can sequence a play where he could sack it right away. Hold on.
And get rid of the Gempalm, which was going to target it anyway, I guess. But I guess that way you don't lose the card.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say you just had a little visit.
Yes.
Yeah, you had a little visitor just a minute ago.
Yeah, I saw her peeking in the background.
Yeah. Okay, Splitter's in, Spitter's in.
Okay.
I think
so.
You're right. Does he flashback the Cabal therapy to get the Gempalm out of his hand? It doesn't really make much sense.
It's reasonable because it denies a card, but I don't know.
But he could also just respond to the flashback with cycling it.
Well, he didn't.
Oh no, there'd be no target. He'd have to target his own thing.
Oh, he did have no. He did have mana. Okay, never mind. Okay, so yeah, it doesn't make sense.
If you attack, I think you attack, and if you attack with the matron at the very least. Yeah, that's the way I would do it. Attack with the matron. You're going to get this point in, and that way, if he does block, okay, he blocks, fine, kills the matron, which is going to die anyway. Sack the fanatic, kill the spitter, clear the board.
So yeah. he is blocking. I don't know if I like the block there. I feel like it's harder.
I'm not sure if I like it either.
I think it's harder for Fede to play more stuff if he doesn't block there.
I totally agree. Now he's going to play, what is this?
Goblin Tinker.
Tinker. Okay, come on. Give me something else.
Yeah.
But maybe he should have. Yeah, the block there was probably a little weak because he was able to play something afterwards. Just like you said. Definitely changes the tempo. Whereas he could have regained the tempo if he just played it during upkeep and said, okay, this is going to hang around until you deal with this, and you're basically not going to be able to play anything. All right, here we go. Now we got another second Living Wish. We got, this Volrath Stronghold. Ooh, that's fun.
Okay.
That's a fun one. Plays it. And, okay. We might be seeing, and there's the bop. We might be seeing plague spitters for days.
Yes.
Bringing them back.
That is a possibility.
Okay. Yep. Gempalm. Cycle that card. Kill the bird.
Sure.
Which was going to die in. Yep. Okay. Now we need a big threat from Federico right now.
You're saying Goblin Tinker is not a big threat?
Not typically, and definitely not against the Rock.
There are Mishra's factories, so.
They are. Oh, there we go. War Chief. Piledriver. Come on, bring it.
There's no goblin bias from Jared over here.
No, I like both decks a lot.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I just I like to see explosive stuff happen.
Sure.
Okay.
So
Oh, that's another interesting card. Was the Barbarian Ring?
yep,
That's an interesting bit of reach.
there's one of those in the deck for Fede. So he's attacking for 3. So Alberto's down to 8. How many? Can you see how many cards are in Fede's hand? Is it just the one?
I think it's just one. I think he's running pretty low.
I
He hasn't
want-
hit a Ringleader yet, so.
Well, he would have played. He would have played Ringleader.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So I mean, in theory, it could be a Siege Gang, but you might play Siege Gang over War Chief in that spot. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not.
Right. What's the Stronghold costs what? 1 and a black, and then tap it itself to bring the card back.
Yeah,
Put it on top?
puts it on top. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so this is a big blocker by Baloth, the Baloth. You really got to keep this tempo up, otherwise, I think the engine of the rock looks like it's about ready to take over.
Yeah, I mean, he can only do it every other turn, though. He doesn't have that much mana.
Right. Exactly. The mana is what's constraining Alberto for sure.
And it does make you lose a draw step. So we do see a Lackey was added.
Yeah, but that Baloth is doing its job and just slowing things down.
And we are not at threshold for the Goblin deck, correct?
There's 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like 5.
Okay, I was saying the same thing.
Who's swinging? Okay. Take it.
Interesting.
I don't think I would have attacked there.
Well, there might be some follow-up.
Yeah, then we don't know. Like a second one.
Or a Blastoderm.
Ooh, that's a lot of life. That's a lot of life, and those are some big booties.
Yeah. So if there isn't a Ringleader or Matron or Siege Gang in the near future for Fede, I think I like the Rock's chances of stabilizing and coming back. Because he's effectively has 8 life, and if there's more time, then he has the Volrath. I guess if you could draw Wasteland too from the Goblin's perspective and get rid of
the Stronghold.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think he's just drawing lands though. See, he's had that one card in his hand for a while. I wonder if it's like the Pyromancer and he's just waiting for a good turn to swing all in. But
yeah, that'd be the only other, I think, card that you'd really hold in your hand that I can think of.
Yeah, you're not holding on to a king. You're not hold. Oh, it looks like you might actually have 2 cards.
There's a Piledriver.
The Piledriver. Okay. Okay. Still. Oh, roll my homies. Let's go.
All right. So this Piledriver is a 7/2.
7/2. Yeah. He's probably blocks. He has to block the. Yeah.
Pretty much.
That's
yeah.
actually. That's so. Yeah. Sack that. Gain the 4 life.
Oh, so then he's choosing not to kill the Piledriver?
Yeah. So that Piledriver should still be alive. If he gains life, then the Piledriver should still be alive.
I'm just waiting. I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see what they're doing with the life totals.
Oh, yep. I think they're trying to figure it out as well. Because Alberto should have 4 more life if that looks like the way it is.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I guess he took 4, and that's why he didn't move his life total.
Oh, smart.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just waiting for body language. I thought they were talking about something, but no.
Yeah.
They had moved past damage.
Okay, so this is the upkeep, it looks like, no?
Yes.
No, he does not tap in the Stronghold. Maybe he just missed the draw.
A Pernicious Deed. But right now he has 2, so the Goblin War Chief would stay.
Yeah, and that's okay with you. Because the Piledriver is what's going away, and that's the big deal. But I kind of like the idea of just keeping the pressure on. And if, by the way, if the life gained equals to, I guess I would have put him at 4. I don't know. Getting the Piledriver at the board, he probably knew he had the deed in his hand, so that's why he did the sack.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Okay. I think you got to pressure him to make him use this deed now.
Yeah, it's hard because it's like I don't even know from this board. Like if Fede doesn't have anything, is Alberto willing to skip draw steps and just get like Blastoderms or stuff on top of your deck and leave 2 mana up or 3 mana now for Deed.
Mm.
And I think he almost would be.
Yeah, it looks like he is. I mean, I would pop this Deed for 3. You're free and clear. Attack for 4. Let's go. Yeah. I think I would tap a little differently though. I think I'd leave that strong.
Leave the Stronghold up just in case.
Leave the Stronghold up just for the option. Again, he might follow it up with something right now, but
maybe he's got a Yavimaya Elder.
That'd be good.
Oh, is this Ravenous Baloth not attacking? Oh, I was say I already moved the life total down, so
roll with the big boys.
Yes, the Barbarian Ring now has enough fuel that it can
absolutely, but he's not within reach. I mean, Alberto's effectively at 12.
Yes.
So okay, where's that Ringleader? Ringleader, Siege Gang, and then I feel like you could be back in this. But again, that Volrath Stronghold is looming large for the long game.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an issue that I think... Okay, here we have a cycled Krosan Tusker.
Okay.
He didn't want to try and draw a 7th mana to play that big boy.
Yeah, apparently. And to draw the card, it's literally a 2-for-1.
Yeah.
Nice little card.
I wouldn't say it's little, but
true. I mean, he could also get the current Nightmare Engine going right now.
Yeah, and that is a beast too. So it does have the interaction with the Ravenous Baloth.
Yep. Yeah. The interactions with the Baloth of the Blastoderm and the Tusker, and also Spiritmonger to a lesser extent, are definitely awesome. Yep. Roll for 4. All right. The Rock is doing rock things.
Yep. It does not look good for the little red men.
No, it does not.
Oh, and yeah.
Oh, jeez. Yep, they're the blockers. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're assuming that Federico's going to probably end up losing this, but this really came down to there was that like a turn or two where he just wasn't able to follow up with the pressure. That Tinkerer turn. Yeah. It was just like yeah. There we go. Moving on. Yeah, that Tinker return was where he needed to slam down something big and keep the pressure on. The 1/2 Tinker, even with the War Chief right afterwards, was not enough.
Yeah, and so we are playing a best of 3, so they are going to their sideboards right away.
Okay, cool.
So I have the Rock deck up. We talked a little bit about this in our pregame. What cards are you expecting to come in?
Oh, hold on, I gotta bring it up. I mean, definitely the Plagues.
Yes.
Obviously, then you're gonna bring the Plagues in, and there's 3 of those, right?
Yep.
So you bring in the 3 Plagues and hold on, it's slow. I'm on computer. And last one, sorry. All right, so you definitely bring in the 3 Plagues. Is that a Bone Shredder as well?
Yes.
Yep. Bone Shredder and a Masticore. I think that's pretty good options. So you bring in those 5 cards, and then you're taking out.
Which one? Because you do the 2 Living Wishes. Which would you rather have in your sideboard, Masticore or Plague Spitter? If you're bringing one of those in.
Oh, jeez, tough one. I'm not sure. Probably the Plague Spitter, because it just curves better. Because you go 2 Plague for the Living Wish, 3 into Plague Spitter maybe, and you really like to draw it too. I'm not sure actually. What
cards are you interested in taking out from the Rock's perspective? I think Duress is probably the weakest card.
Absolutely, Duress. So that's 3 easy cuts. You probably leave in the Cabal Therapies because his list, and you're going to be able to, probably hit pretty well.
Well, yeah, Cabal Therapy interacts pretty well against like Matron and Ringleader too. So.
Exactly. So keep that in. Maybe take out the Elders. Elders are fine, Whereas I definitely wouldn't take out the Tusker or whatever, just because you have that synergy that gains life. Yeah. But I would. The Elders is probably your next worst card. It's not bad, but what you're bringing in are 3 awesome, 5 awesome cards, or whatever. So.
All right, I'll bring up the Goblins deck. So, I think, Drawn as Crusade needs to come in. It's a way to counteract the Plague. The other cards that seem interesting, Duress is a card that is decent. I don't know if it is as much of a card I like against like a mid-range deck. I usually like it against the faster combo decks.
Yeah.
And also Pyrokinesis is a reasonable card. I don't know. The problem is I don't know if it does enough.
It kills. Well, I mean, it can kill a wall. It can kill birds. It can kill. I mean, a Baloth, but not very well. Just it says gain 4.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, maybe that doesn't do enough. But like, you're definitely taking out the Tinkerer.
Yep.
You're definitely taking out the bolts. You probably leave in the reach. I don't know. Doesn't seem great.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm not exactly sure what cards you want to take out.
If you're casting Duress, right? If you bring in Duress, you're hoping to hit like Deed, Smother, Recurring Nightmare, I guess. But I think Deed mostly, but and Engineer Plague and their Engineer Plague.
Sure.
So, but yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, obviously the options for
I'm not that high on. You could take out a Goblin Sharpshooter. I don't know. Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's pretty miserable. But I don't know. I don't know if I'd be inclined to bring in the Duresses. It seems like there's too many spots where it just doesn't hit the card you really need to, and I don't know.
I agree. Yeah, I'm curious to see how he does it. I definitely like Alberto's, sideboard is being very strong.
Yeah, I would say Alberto probably has to have the advantage, especially in the sideboard games with the 3 Engineered Plagues coming in. Mm-hmm. And even if Ravenous Crusade does come down, Pernicious Deed still can wipe everything away.
And the key card for Federico is definitely going to be if he gets Ringleaders, because he didn't draw any that game, and that's the refill he needed, or a Siege game, and he just never saw it.
All right, I'll jump back over to our match. We can see our players. They're drawing their opening 7s, so Fede will be on the play since he is down a game.
Excellent.
And he's really looking for that turn 1 Lackey, because I guess even in post-sideboard games, there's not that many. I don't think there is an answer for Alberto to have to a turn 1 Lackey, correct?
No, nothing. I mean, unless he wants to block birds, which is actually not the worst.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not.
It's probably worth it as long as you have a turn 2 wall or something to deal with it next turn.
Yeah.
I would throw birds in front of that as opposed to him putting down something nasty. Because then turn 2 you have access to Wall of Blossoms and Smother, and then turn 3. I mean, not quite Deed because you need the next one, but I think it's blocking with birds is completely legitimate.
Yeah.
But we'll see what he gets. I mean, both these decks don't really want a mulligan. They want to use all their cards.
Yeah, so I think the Goblin deck does okay, especially if you're pretty high on Goblin Lackey. I think it's pretty safe to mulligan for Goblin Lackey against this deck, especially since you know the deck list. I think it's pretty reasonable. And there are ways of regaining that card advantage with Goblin Matron and Goblin Ringleader. So,
yeah, that's fair. Uh-oh, he's in the tank.
Yeah, it's always those hands that are okay. It looks like he's keeping
it.
They're reasonable hands, but they're if it's a good hand but doesn't have a lackey kind of thing. But
yeah. Oh, here it is.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, we'll see if Alberto has a response. Is able to answer this Goblin Lackey, because it could be very problematic. All right. So
here's what I said.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens if. I could see if you have a Pernicious Deed or maybe an Engineered Plague that you're not blocking with the Lackey, but it'll be interesting to see what Alberto does if he's willing to just jump the Goblin Lackey to deny.
And I'm wondering also if he's fetching right now to use the Gempalm to just shoot it down and make sure this Lackey hits.
Sure.
Which is you want to bolt the bird anyway, right?
Yep.
So let's do it. Also, worthy of noting that he got a mountain there, so I'm thinking he maybe didn't move in the Duress. Okay, Fanatic, that worked.
Yeah, he's still gonna have
double red.
Ravenous Crusade that he wants to play, but yeah, there are definitely hands where red mana is really important, especially because a lot of the turns you have War Chief into something. So okay, so we see the Mog Fanatic take out the Birds of Paradise.
2.
The Goblin Lackey gets in.
Draw 4.
So that was a Ringleader, a Matron, a War Chief, and another Lackey. So very, very, very good start for the Goblin player.
What a great card. just so good. 2/2 haste or draw 4 cards. I mean, it's just awesome. And when you don't get at least 2 cards off the Ringleader, it's like the worst feeling in the world. But like when you hit all 4, it's just, you're like, this is amazing, especially on turn 2 like that.
I don't know. I mean, like if there was a card that was just a 4-mana 2/2 haste, draw 2 cards, I feel like that card would be good enough for Premodern.
Yeah,
so it
absolutely.
sounds kind of funny that you're like, when you only hit 2, you feel bad about it. I guess that's just the expectation with the Goblin Ringleader.
Absolutely. Okay, so now we're swinging for 6 with the option of putting down. I mean, at least one of these Ringleaders is connecting. Cool. Smother one of them. I mean, one of the lackeys is connecting.
Yeah, what card are you taking out here? War Chief? I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
I mean, and the tempo is so far in his favor now.
So he's attacking for 4.
Yep.
And there's 2 triggers, and one of them's a Ringleader and one of them's a Matron that are available. So he can just put any Goblin he wants into play, because he could
absolutely
do one with Matron and then one with the other one.
So maybe you do the Matron and trigger the Matron first, or play the Matron first, right? And that triggers. Then you go get your Siege Gang.
You might actually.
Then you
I would say Goblin King actually might be a card here that you would put into play, because if you're trying to play around, like, I would maybe go Goblin Matron for Goblin King.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, that would have been a good play. And then so the second trigger, he puts down the Matron, which, I mean, yeah, because Engineer Plague right now takes 3 power off the board. Actually, 5 power off the board.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe you Matron first, get the King, and then, because of what the Plague can do. Because your beatdowns look really sad if all of a sudden this Plague comes down. Yeah, I think I would have Matron to get the King, play the King, and then you're pumped up and you got protection.
Yeah, the question is like, how slow is that? Like, if your opponent has Pernicious Deed, like, is that too slow then? All right, well, here we have Pernicious Deed.
That's fine.
All right.
Who cares if he has Pernicious Deed right now? It's about next turn, and he should be dead right now. He could potentially be taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You know, he's already at 13. You can probably find 2 more damage, especially if you have the War Chief in your hand already.
I think it would have been, so it would have been 1, 2, 3. Okay, it would have been 11. Yeah.
It would have been 11, so put him at 2. And then, I mean, his Deed's too slow compared to Plague. I mean, because here comes he has a War Chief in his hand, which maybe he got off that Ringleader, so I might have been speaking out of turn.
Is there a Matron in his hand?
There's definitely a Fanatic.
Yeah, there is a Matron.
Okay, here's a big swing.
I feel like there could have been a play for like Matron for, maybe not.
Piledriver?
Yeah, you don't have enough mana, or it doesn't have haste. So here we have, and this Matron can go get. I guess I was gonna say he could get a Skirk Prospector, but we don't know what else is in his hand.
Yeah, but if he has a land.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Oh, another Ringleader. Okay.
There's a Siege Gang.
Yeah.
But so if you put Matron into play, oh no, because you still don't have another mana to play the Skirk Prospector. I was gonna say then you have enough goblins, I think, to sack the Siege Gang, to cast it and then sack itself. If he has another red source, then he should be able to. Okay, so he's getting Piledriver. So even if things, I guess.
So does he has Siege King, Piledriver? Is that a War Chief, and I think something else? So even if he blows up his board,
So I think the card you actually wanted to get there was Skirk Prospector, because so the next turn you would play Skirk Prospector, and if he doesn't respond with Pernicious Deed, he just has enough mana to kill him with Siege King Commander, and so he's forced to deed in that spot, and then you're able to play War Chief and then attack. So here he's like missing an attack step.
Yeah, he is totally. Okay, so he picks it for 1. Actually, that's a really good idea. Yeah, you get the Prospector, and then you would gain 8 mana from that.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
All right, never mind. All right.
Okay, there we go.
That's a line to get things done. So
that works too.
So that was quite a dominating performance by the Goblin deck. But I guess that's kind of expected when you have that turn 1 Lackey that goes.
I still think that when you had that chance to get, when you had those 2 Lackey triggers, if you use the first one to get the Matron, and then the second one to get the first Matron to get the King, and then you put the King in play on the second trigger, right? Then all of a sudden you had 11 power, and even on turn 3, if he plays Plague, you still have a big beating army.
Yeah.
And if he plays Deed on 3, you're swinging for 11 and putting him at 2, and then you have a chance to probably still get more because you still had other things. But I mean, I put my opponent at 2 life on turn 3 and just take my chances on that.
Yeah.
I mean, he definitely drew more cards this way, and he had more options, I guess. But I wonder how long he had that ring in his hand too.
I guess there's a possibility where either he's taking a different line or he sideboard out the Goblin King. I don't know.
Right, that's possible.
Yeah. So, but
I like your idea of that Prospector, though. If you get the Prospector, force them to do that because you have the Siege Gang, and you had the burn there.
Well, it was more because he had a War Chief in his hand, so he would be able,
right.
like, if you make him Deed in response to the Skirk Prospect. Yeah, I guess also the Siege Gang was part of the point too. Yeah, because of all those cards. But yeah.
So you do that before combat. So you cast the Prospector.
Yeah. So if he lets the Prospector resolve, you're able to get a bunch of mana and Siege Gang him out. And if he responds to it, then you're just able to play Goblin War Chief and attack for 3. I mean, you could sack the Skirk Prospector and then
play. Actually, yeah, good line because you had like at least 7 mana. And you would have had plenty of untapped.
Yeah.
So even if he lets it resolve, then you just sack it all, or you get your attack step back.
That's one of the cards that I really like. Skirk Prospector in the Goblins deck. It really opens up a lot of situations where, especially with Goblin Matron, that you can do a lot of things that are really crazy.
I like having 2 of them. Just having 2 of them in there as like options, and it's another 1-drop. I love my Fanatics and I love my Lackeys, but having the Prospector definitely opens up some interesting lines, especially with our buddy the Sharpshooter. So you can really do some sweet stuff with that.
Yeah, I usually start with 3, and I think I have played 4 in some lists. So
yeah, I think the mono red version's definitely played 4 for a while.
All right, so it is a different game when Alberto's on the play. It opens up a lot more opportunities for him to answer a Lackey. There's 3 Wall of Blossoms or 3 Smothers.
You were saying 3 Wall of Blossoms. Is the picture on Facebook a little dated? I see 4.
Oh, there are 4?
Yeah, there are 4.
Oh, then maybe I just got it wrong. They're all in like different spots. I thought I typed in 3. Are you looking at a different list?
This is Alberto Luján, right?
Maybe I had it wrong.
Yeah.
I can probably switch over to this real quick.
You know what I'm also noticing? I don't see the Plague Spitter in the list that I'm looking at, the one that we have online on the group page.
It's definitely on the one I'm looking at. So you might.
I think it might just be cut off on the picture. I could be wrong.
I'm only.
Is it to the right of the Masticore? Because I'm only seeing 14 sideboard cards, so that would make sense.
Does it say Alberto on like Under the Rock, or are you looking at like a different list? Maybe I posted the wrong one. I don't know, but the one I have on stream, it is Alberto's list, and
I'm not seeing the stream, so I'm just looking at the one that's on the group, and I think it's just missed. It makes sense because there's one card that's missing in the sideboard that I can see.
All right, yeah, I'm only seeing 3 Wall Blossoms, but sometimes MTG Goldfish does weird things because they're all in different spots. They're not all together, so I don't know. Maybe there's one hidden somewhere and I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, I'm seeing on the list that was the picture that he took when it was posted. It looks like there's 4, but I could be wrong. Either way, it's pretty good. Okay, we got a mulligan from Federico again. It looks like. All right, Treetop go. That's fine. A couple of preferred birds and has some turn 2 plague, but okay, Barbarian Ring. It's a red source.
I was gonna say that's probably his only red source, but given that would probably be your last choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we do see a turn 1 Lackey, so it could be a 1-land hand though.
Could be, which in my experience, I mean, 1-land hand with Lackey,
Oh, that is one of the answers. Though it could be Wasteland as the other card in another land.
If it's Wasteland, then you're fist bumping if you're Federico. But let's hope it is. Or not. Let's see. Oh, this looks like a no. Oh, there it is. There's a Wasteland. Yeah, you go for it, buddy. Assassinate that factory.
Start attacking. Make him make him activate before block.
Fine.
Get rid of it.
Yeah, kill it. Let's see what the follow-up is. He's clearing a lot of space. What do you think? Siege Gang? Ringleader? Siege Gang?
Siege Gang? I guess you might want to think, like, what is... I guess him losing a land is actually pretty relevant, because if he had 2 lands, you might be a little more hesitant, because if you engineered Plague and then there's Siege Gang, it's just a 1/1, and gets rid of the rest of the cards, it might be less impactful. But I think with him losing a land, you're pretty excited to put Siege Gang into play.
Oh, absolutely. And another Lackey. I mean, you're so far ahead on tempo now.
All right, so a Forest was the play from Alberto, and he just has to say go.
Mm-hmm.
So if this is definitely where some Lackey connections could really just seal the deal. Like if a Goblin King comes down, I don't know if Alberto can really do anything from this position.
No, it seems like King would be awesome. Roll with your homies. Yep.
So that's 5 + 2. That's 7 damage.
7 damage. 2 triggers. I don't think you're not worried about Deed. You're so far ahead of Deed. If he has to tap out for Deed next turn, you're still winning.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Siege King Commander costs 5, so that's going to stick around either way. So he's putting in a Mog Fanatic and a Piledriver.
Okay.
And he does have 2 mana at the end of turn where he can sacrifice a token. This is 3 green mana, so it's a Yavimaya Elder. So I don't think that's going to be enough.
That's not going to. No. Bye-bye.
I think it's just
a
concession. Yeah. All right. We're going to switch over the screens and check in on the players, and then maybe get a little input from them.
All right.
Tenía que haber hecho mulligan a lo mejor. Pasa
Y
que
pasa
como
que si tenías la plaga y robabas negro.
Ahí tenía para buscarla, pero demasiado tarde.
Claro. Voy a subir a los chicos a veces.
Hey guys, we have you unmuted. I don't know if you have us unmuted yet.
Ooh.
Can you hear us?
Now I can hear you.
Okay. Those were some explosive wins from the Goblin deck. Goblin Lackey did a lot of work there.
Yeah,
he does his
kind of a
job.
comeback.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of the matchup before you guys started playing? Did you think one deck had the advantage?
Kind of new to the format, but from what I played, I think it really depends on how I start. Like, if I have a good start, I can apply enough pressure in order to keep up the damage, because if not, the creatures of the rock are too big, maybe, and if I go wide, I can get blown out by Pernicious Deed.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, yeah, as you've seen, probably if I don't have Lackey, I'm kind of an underdog, especially after Cyborg, where they have Plague.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's slightly unfavorable for Goblins.
You think? No, I think the opposite. But I think that it's quite a disadvantage for me to be second on the play, because starting Goblin Lackey, I don't have Vendetta, so I don't have any way to stop it.
Sure.
That's exactly what we said, yeah.
Yeah, with a deckless public, that makes a big difference, that he knows his Goblin Lackey is really good on turn 1. When if it was closed deckless, you might be a little bit afraid of a card like Vendetta.
Yeah, but that has been strange, because I have won the game when Fede started, and I have lost now that I have all my sideboard and starting my game. But in this third game, I didn't draw any of my walls, and I didn't draw any black mana in order to cast Pernicious or to cast the other Engineer Plague.
Right.
And he had played really fast, so impossible for me to have time to react.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Wasteland won that game for sure. if you were able to block with that factory, then you're fine. But
Yeah, also with the Wasteland. Oof.
that was huge.
Yeah,
that it disrupts your mana.
Wasteland
And
or Bolt there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
excellent. Well, good games. Yeah, I mean, I think both those decks did what they did in their wins. The Rock ground out that first game for sure. On the back of Deed and Baloth, and the otherwise the Lackey took over the next two games. But couldn't be answered. So, people don't sleep near those turn one Lackeys. You need to, if you're playing a deck, you got to be able to be faster than it or deal with it. So
Sure.
Yeah, I think that pretty much sums the matchup. Like turn one Lackey is the most important thing you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Probably in every matchup, but especially against the Rock, you can really raise them once they establish control of the board.
Which is why I think the Vendetta is actually important in the Rock lists.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
because of that. And we were saying that if he had a chance to, like, when you Fnatic there's birds in the second game, I would have definitely done the same. But like if you given the option to block with the Birds of Paradise, if I'm the Rocks player, I think I just take that block just so you don't get that Lackey going. I mean, it's not great, but at the same time, it's better than a siege game coming down or whatever, Ringleader. So.
Yeah, given the opportunity, if I have a one toughness creature on the other side of the board and I have a Fanatic and a Lackey, I would always kill the creature just in case, even if the creature is important.
Absolutely.
Because it's more important for me to get the hit in.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Yep.
Cool. Well, good games, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for everything, guys.
Yeah.
Take
Thanks.
care.
Yep. Good luck. Good luck going forward. Congratulations.
Take care.
Bye bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
All right.
All right.
There we go.
Yep. So, in terms of parting words, I mean, that was a pretty interesting matchup where where the Goblins deck definitely showed off the power of Goblin Lackey. Do you want to add anything real quick before we go, Jared?
No, I think it's time to watch the election again. Apparently.
All right, sounds good. That's fine. All right, thanks for joining me. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll see you soon when we have some of the semifinals scheduled. All right, bye.
Bye. Take care, Mike.